All right, let's talk about feeding our backyard birds. If you think it's just about throwing out some seed and enjoying the show, well, there's actually a little more to it. Getting it right can make a world of difference for the health and safety of those little guys visiting your yard.
And this right here is something so many of us can relate to. You start out with the absolute best intentions, right? You just want to help out nature, see some beautiful birds up close. And then you realize something you're doing might actually be causing a problem. It's a tough lesson, but it's one we can all learn from.
So you have to ask yourself this tough question. A feeder can be a total lifeline for birds, especially when the weather gets rough. But, and this is a big but, if it's not managed the right way, that safe little diner can turn into a real danger zone.
And that really gets to the heart of it. This isn't about people trying to hurt birds. Not at all. It's about how our good intentions can sometimes backfire. So let's get into what exactly can go wrong. Okay, here's the number one issue. When you get a ton of birds all crammed into one little spot, it's kind of like a crowded bus in the middle of flu season. These feeders can become serious hotspots for spreading some pretty nasty diseases. We're talking salmonellosis, even avian flu, that get passed around through droppings and old contaminated seed. Just look at the difference here. It's night and day, right? On one side, you've got a dirty feeder that's a magnet for disease, pests like rats and mice, and just gross mold. But on the other side, a well-kept feeder actually promotes bird health, brings in an amazing variety of new species, and becomes a genuine safe haven. The choice is pretty obvious.
So, the good news. Fixing this is not rocket science. It really just comes down to 3 simple rules. If you can get these down, you'll basically be running the best 5-star restaurant for birds in the entire neighborhood.
And here they are, the 3 pillars of feeding birds responsibly. It's about the food and the right amount, keeping the space clean and safe, and, this is a big one, smart placement and spacing. Let's tackle that first one.
First things first, portion control. It's so tempting to just fill the feeder to the brim, but more is definitely not better here. When you put out a mountain of seed that just sits there for days, it gets damp, it grows mold, it gets gross, and it sends out an open invitation to rodents. So the trick is to only put out what the birds will eat in a day or so. Fresh food means healthy birds. Simple as that.
And of course, you gotta have the right stuff on the menu. Black oil sunflower seeds, total crowd pleaser. Almost everyone loves them. Suet is like a high-energy power bar, absolutely perfect for getting birds through a cold winter. And for your hummingbirds, that nectar is key, but you have to replace it every couple of days when it's hot, because it spoils super fast. Oh, and a huge no-no, never, ever give them bread or old moldy food. It's really bad for them. Okay, on to rule number 2, keeping things clean. And this number right here, this is your magic formula. About once a week, you really should scrub down your feeders with a 10% bleach solution. So that's 1 part bleach to 9 parts water. Then, and this is important, rinse it really well and let it dry completely before you put more seed in. It's a simple step, but it is one of the best things you can do to stop diseases from spreading. Seriously, just think of this simple equation. Moisture plus grime equals sick birds. That's why wet, clumpy seed is the enemy. The second you see it, you've got to get it out of there. That damp, gunky mix is the perfect breeding ground for all the nasty stuff we're trying to avoid. And now for our third and final rule, location, location, location. Think of this number as your guide for bird-style social distancing. If you can, space your feeders about 10 to 15 feet apart. What this does is it helps prevent a big, unhealthy crowd from forming a just one spot. It thins everyone out and really lowers the risk of disease building up. So here's a quick little checklist for you. Keep those feeders spaced out, put them high enough off the ground, about 5 or 6 feet, to keep cats and other predators away. You want to place them near some cover, like a bush, so birds have a place to zip into if they feel threatened, but not so close that a squirrel can just make an easy jump. And finally, keep the ground underneath clean. Sweep up those fallen seeds so you don't attract any unwanted guests. And hey, if you really want to take it to the next level, start thinking like a head chef. Your menu should change with the seasons and for your specific customers. In the winter, birds are desperate for high-fat foods for energy. In the summer, you're just supplementing what's already out there. And different birds like different things. Finches go nuts for tiny nodger seeds, while bigger birds like cardinals and jays love a nice flat platform feeder. So, you do all this, what's the payoff? Well, it's about so much more than just preventing problems. It's about creating something amazing. It's about turning your own backyard into a vibrant, healthy little paradise for birds. When you boil it all down, it comes back to this simple idea. Feed smart, clean often. You do those two things, and you're not just feeding birds anymore. You're actually building a paradise. You're going to attract more types of birds, they're going to be healthier, and trust me, the joy you get from watching them is going to be so much bigger.
So as we finish up here, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. What's the first change you're going to make? Maybe it's just putting a weekly feeder cleaning in your calendar. Or maybe it's switching up the seed you use, or moving a feeder to a better spot. What's that one small thing you can do, maybe even today, to make your backyard an even better place for birds?